Hey guys, we are live. I hope this works out better. Anyway, for those of you who are just joining us now, we're discussing how China has told the whole world that they've defeated the coronavirus. You know, the numbers are going down. It's okay to go to work. Everything is cool, but it's not. We're going to discuss it and try to give you a little bit more insight into what's actually going on and why this is happening. So, Simil, do you want to start out again? Because we're going to have to rehash this because there'll be a lot of people who didn't know what's going on.
Okay, so very quickly, the WHO, by the way, is all those people there. I'm just making sure that this is popping up, so give me a second.
It's fine. Go for it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, sorry about all the problems we're having, guys. We're currently in Mexico. We're on a trip with the bikes, and we had to stop to talk about this. So, unfortunately, the internet in the motel that we're staying in is not fantastic.
It is not. I apologize. Some people are still whining about it.
But the beer is good.
Yeah, yeah. All beer is good, really. It's kind of like pizza, right? Actually, I've had some pretty bad beer. Anyway, long story short. So I'm a little concerned because right now in Chinese state media, and this is, again, I'll rehash this. This is something you're not going to hear from mainstream media, even experts on the virus or anything. We're invested in China. We care about what's happening in China. And I'm listening to my parents-in-law who are currently in the U.S. And every night they're trading their stocks or listening to their news from state media. And the government's claiming that not only have they pretty much conquered this coronavirus, not only conquered it, but also every other country that has it, Italy, South Korea, Japan, they're getting ravaged because they can't contain it properly. The authoritarian measures that China may have looked at, they even admit some of this stuff.
Yeah.
The authoritarian measures that China pulled out of their ass at the time look bad at the time, but look at how well they've contained it. It's really working. They're believing this, right?
Right.
And I go to my WeChat moments. Everyone's acting like everything's normal unless they're in Wuhan, obviously.
Yes.
Meanwhile, the reality of the situation is we're talking about potentially underreporting by tenfold.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
And number two, I have predictions on this. I said from day one, what's going to happen is China's going to get ravaged. Their economy is going to take a massive hit. But they're going to wait until the last minute to where everything is just so tits up that they have to do something crazy.
Yeah.
And you know what's the craziest thing to me is to just claim that everything's fine, let your people die, and then at the end of the day, claim victory and actually say, after all this blows over, that the CCP will come out stronger after this. They'll actually say to everyone, we dealt with this better than anyone in the world. Look at how good our measures are. And it will really romanticize authoritarian rule. Yeah. And that scares the shit out of me.
And you've got a lot of foreigners who are playing along as well, who are saying that, hey, that's
the problem. Did you read New York Times today?
No.
The headline is, coronavirus spreading in other countries faster than China. No fucking isn't, dude. Are you kidding me?
No.
You know what I mean? That's so irresponsible. But it's responsible journalism in that they're using official data because it's
using the official data from China, which is wrong. It's been doctored from the beginning. And like I said earlier, what they're doing is, in order to make the numbers look less, is when someone's infected but asymptomatic, so they don't actually have a fever or a cough or anything, they say, oh, he's not infected. Down as infected in the actual list of infected people. On top of that, doctors are being told they have a quota. This is from people I know, medical professionals I know in China have told me they have a quota. And so when they reach that quota, say for instance, they're allowed to report 500 sick people in a week or something. So once they reach 500, they have to start writing down different reasons for them to be infected. Like, oh, they have viral pneumonia or they have the flu or something, but they're not allowed to write them down officially as having the virus because it inflates the numbers. It's the same that they do when they fix the box offices in China. You know, when you got to go watch a Terminator or something.
There's so many parallels.
And you get a ticket for a Chinese movie, but they've crossed it out and
it's called like 70 years of communist struggle. And you're like, I'm going to see Terminator.
And they're like, don't worry, that ticket still works. You just walk in there. Because then the box office shows that the local movies are selling better, and so they get better investment and stuff.
I don't want to toot our own horns, but this is the kind of stuff. I'm not going to call names out, but like people that I really respected on YouTube that were doing really good coverage of this whole disaster are really screwing up now. Because you might think it's petty, and a lot of people say we just need to deal with what's happening on the ground right now, and what we can place the blame later. But the blame has to be placed now when decisions are being made at an international level. China's number one, putting warships out. They're scrambling Taiwan in the air right now during this crisis. All of these things, like China's vying for its win over this whole coronavirus, and they will claim victory. even though that it's a massive loss to their own people, but they will claim a moral victory over this, and people will buy it. And they're already buying it. That's my worst worry, dude.
Yeah, I mean, they're the ones who inflicted this, put this thing out there in the first place.
Right, and the blame game is important at this point, because this is the time where you can actually make some social change in China, or political change in China.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like if I set my own house on fire
after it all gets cleared up. You don't get arrested, right, for arson. What happens is all the people that get their houses burnt down are like, you know what, Winston, you did a great job.
Yeah, you managed to put your own house out. Yeah, you put your house.
Not only that, they didn't put the fire out yet.
No,
they didn't. It's ravaging. If you, I think the best, most telling piece right now is if you go at the official numbers right now.
Yeah.
Korea's doing a great job with containment. It's ravaging Korea.
Yeah.
3,000, 4,000 cases, right? But if you do the math with the population size, 40 million people. 3,000, 4,000 cases. That does not add up in a country of 1.4 billion people that have not properly been contained.
Yes.
The mask situation was out of control. There's no cleaning supplies, disinfectant. People are actually not contained and still moving around.
Here's another nice little parallel we can. When this started to break out in Korea, and you had that like religious group that refused to wear masks and stuff, and they went out during like 1,000 or something of them together. Everyone's like, look how stupid they are that they'd still go out and do that. Oh yeah, what about 40,000 families at a banquet?
No, I mean, that's the thing is that you guys, and I don't want to be speculative, but you have to maybe times it by 10.
Yeah.
Maybe by 10.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is the problem, is that they played the soft power game. They played the race card. You can't say, oh, this came from China. They got the WHO to actually rename the virus. We know China's the one that did that.
Yeah, for sure.
To rename the virus so that it wasn't like blamed on anyone. And now it's discriminatory to even question the idea. My perfect storm, my nightmare is the CCP melding the Chinese idea right now in Western media.
Yeah.
It's blowing my fucking mind, dude.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's really, really terrible. All I can say is that China hasn't won, and it's irresponsible to think that things are calming down, because they're not at all.
No.
In fact, it's only just getting started around the rest of the world.
And in China, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, in China, there are people trying to say that, oh, we got to watch out for people coming in from overseas now.
We were going to bring that up in the notes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They're now quarantining people that come from abroad because, and I'm not even joking, it's not even a containment method. They're saying it's because you have more of a risk of coming down with coronavirus outside of China than within China now. That is literally the party rhetoric right
That's what they're saying. They're saying that, there's more chance that you'll catch it.
But they're willing to postpone the most important meeting in the Chinese government so that the CCP officials don't get coronavirus in Mexico.
Yeah, we're in Mexico. What are you going to drink, right? Well, I guess you're also going to drink this.
Finish those though.
Yeah. But yeah, no, seriously, it's kind of ridiculous. Let's take a look at some chats.
Sure.
Yeah. So, like to answer some questions, guys. Yeah, sorry for the slightly unorthodox kind of thing that we're doing today, but we're on the road.
Miss Me Toker would like to interview. I don't know who that is. Thank you.
Sure.
Nice Charlie Sheen look there. Sea Milk lol. Thanks for all the great info and great.
Are you a warlock?
Yes. I'm Charlie Sheen, dude. I missed a couple questions here, so you entertained. Talk about how they're in our notes we were talking about how they're blaming Italy.
Yeah, well, obviously there's all sorts of ridiculous stuff going on the Chinese internet right now, trying to say from the beginning they're really just trying to blame the spread of the virus because of external forces, which is absolutely ridiculous. I just I don't really know what to make out of that. So
I mean, honestly, it's I'm getting like really fucking pissed off about this because I almost didn't want to believe that this disaster was going to turn into a smear campaign against other countries.
Yeah.
And where China comes out the victor. And now I'm fully in belief that that's actually what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And they're going to put, if we look at history, like in the future, we go back to this history, I don't think this virus will be attributed to China at all. I'm not even joking. I think history will be rewritten because of this. Because every country is going to have to suffer some cases, for sure. This is going to spread. It's spreading now.
Yeah.
But it's going to be far removed because there will be honest all the documented information that we look back, not from where it came from, why it happened, mismanagement, authoritarian leadership. No one will talk about that.
Yeah.
It's already happening now.
Yeah. It's super annoying. That's why we have to keep reminding everyone where this virus comes from.
Well, they're making it very difficult for people like us because our job is to do social media, right? We don't want to profit off of the coronavirus, but when you make it to the point where we make $0 a month because the WHO takes complete reign over your channel, and we're still getting ads on our channel, by the way. We're just not getting paid for them.
No, we're not getting paid for them,
And then you have massive conglomerations like CNN, Fox, MSNBC, BBC. They can play, not BBC, but they can play a new story about coronavirus.
Yeah.
And then they can have commercial breaks.
Yeah, like Coca-Cola,
millions of dollars.
Whatever, Toyota, yeah.
Right, it's screwing us over. Big talk about bikes or some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
By the way, we had a very good question there.
Okay.
Question is China's economy actually back on track? You know, are things, happening? No, but you know what they are doing is they're faking it. You saw the videos I saw a video about factories are just running equipment on full blast in order to show that they're consuming electricity. Because right now the local governments are being told by the higher ups, you have to be producing a certain amount. Your economy has to be working. And the way that they check it is they see electricity usage to see if the factories are using up this amount of electricity. So there's no one in the factory. They're just running the machines so that it looks like they're drawing the electricity and doing something.
I have a very good analogy for that. I've said this probably years ago. It's been a while. We live in a society where like conspiracy theorists do run amok, right?
Okay.
Say something like that. The average person who has not been to China is going to think that's just ridiculous.
Sure.
Why would they actually do that, right? I'll tell you why. When a government official came to Baotou in Mongolia, there's some wind. You know, we were riding. We saw those.
Wind turbines.
What are they called? Wind
turbines.
Wind turbines.
Yes, it's a wind turbine.
Farms of them, right?
Yeah, wind farm.
They had a few of those in Baotou, Inner Mongolia. They don't run. Whenever I rode by them, I was like, why are they not running? It's a super windy area too, right?
Okay.
They're not running. They're not generating anything. And when the official came into town, they, no joke, hooked up a power supply and a small motor to make them turn when he was in town. So if you think about that, and that's something when you're willing to go to those lengths to fake it for face, it shows you how completely degraded Chinese society is, where the CCP actually just runs on lies. It does. So what you said is not actually ridiculous. It's 100% believable to me.
Yeah.
So if you see little petty examples like that.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. They have right now. They've got this big mandate from the top down saying our economy has to, continue. So first of all, how do we do that? Well, we try to allay the fears of everyone. So what we do is tell everyone the numbers are going down.
Right.
Everything's fine. We've got it contained. There've been no new cases reported over the last week, which is a bunch of bullshit. They're not reported because they're not allowed to be reported. No. Or they're being reported as something else. Or they just change the way they report things, right? So the data's all screwed up, and that really messes with everything.
Sure.
So they're like, okay, that's fine. Now we can start opening up our factories again and start sending batches of workers back to work. They tried that. Remember, they sent someone back, then someone got sick and they all have to be quarantined again. That happened. So they're doing this slowly, trying to bring things back to normal, trying to tell everyone that, hey, everything's fine. Right. Everything's okay.
Meanwhile, the CCP officials that get like top orders, they know that they need to like hide out.
Yeah, that's why they cancel their meetings.
I saw a great quote today. I don't know, I just read it or something. It said, unfortunately, for a good chunk of China's factory workers, not getting the coronavirus is a luxury for them. Like they can't afford it. It's a luxury they can't afford.
Yeah, exactly.
They're gonna have to go. It's gonna be like, I like how people think that China and people that really support socialist states will look at China's big major programs and say, this is a more equal society than this bullshit America that we live in, where everyone's like completely on different levels. Yeah. When you go to China, you realize it is the top level. Do not fraternize with people on the bottom level. They're not cordial with them. They're not polite to them. And the people at the bottom suck it up. It's something called chirku, which means eat bitter. Yeah. They chirku so that people on the top don't have to do shit. They suffer everything, whether it's diseases, viruses, overworking, lack of payment on time. Yeah, having to travel 3,000 miles away from their home province to go work some shit factory job.
All you need to do is go to a Chinese restaurant in China to see that in action, because you get someone, even if they got a little bit of money, they don't even need to be rich or anything, just your average working Joe, and how they treat the waiters and waitresses with such disrespect. Right. It just shows you how it all works. Right. Because to them, a waiter or a waitress is just a slave.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So they'll shut up.
Spit at them.
I got footage.
Of course, dude. And this is something that you actually do. You won't stick up for the waitress at that point because it's so ingrained in society. Yeah. if somebody is below you, you treat them like shit. That's how China works.
Yeah,
straight
totally.
up.
So the factory workers and the people that are going to be forced to go back to work right now in this situation where the virus is still around, they are really the people that are going to suffer the most.
And you know what China's doing a great job of right now is actually stifling information. VPNs are down right now. Number two, they are sweeping the board. They have to be doubling their efforts for people working in those censorship.
Yeah, no, they're
places.
weeding out any kind of negative, negative
nuts.
news. And you are not allowed to go online and post anything negative right now.
With the reason we saw so much information from the get-go was because China wasn't even willing to admit that it was a problem.
Yeah.
It was to the point where it was like, holy shit, like there's nothing to crack down on yet because everyone's lying to each other at all levels in the CCP. Now that people understand what's happening, they're like, okay, this is what we need to crack down on.
Sure.
So, but these arrested, these doctors dying, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That information stopped, and it's still happening, but those people are not allowed to be heroes anymore.
No.
You're not hearing about it anymore.
No, you can't. It's a terrible situation. So we don't want to drag this on forever. We're going to answer some questions, but the be all and the end all is, guys, is right now, please do not put yourself at risk because you're hearing all these stories about how China's already kind of defeated the virus and it's going down and stuff because it's actually not true.
Definitely don't go to China.
No.
Right.
You know, the whole point is they're just doing this in order to, bolster confidence in the local population in order to start the economy again. And it's literally, things have not improved, but guess what? We want our economy back, so we're just going to have to pretend that they have so the people have the confidence.
And historically, how is this any different than the CCP's lies have ran in the past? It's not. It's identical, right? So why is this situation any different? Why are people latching out of this idea? Before we get into the questions, my last piece to say about this is the reason I'm so emotional and pissed off about this is because it's gone from a point where Winston and I are critiquing like the way this was dealt with and seeing the holes in like how the CCP actually screwed this up so bad to the point now where it's almost like we are doing damage control because I can't fucking believe that people are actually chiding the CCP right now.
Yeah.
I can't believe that they're stupid. We know how bad they are at propaganda and soft power, but it's working. And it's really pissing me off because people are going to get deluded and romanticize an absolute satanic, evil dictatorship that China is. It really is.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether you believe in that shit or not. It's an evil government.
Yeah, no,
and it's actually becoming the super. It's making itself the super. It's writing its own history right now. I hate it.
Anyway, let's get some questions. Hopefully we can spread some light on a few subjects here.
Yeah. There's quite a few.
Okay.
Royal Wins. This is off topic, but I've wanted your guys' opinion on how the CCP reacts to the CCP. I've had experiments with this for a long time.
Okay.
It would immediately threaten war. Immediately threaten war. It would immediately threaten invasion. You'd see a ton of military exercise, and they wouldn't do shit in the end.
The thing is, they've been doing that anyway, haven't they? They've been threatening. They always threaten Taiwan. We're going to have to use force if necessary. You hear that all the time.
Well, they were going to go to war with Japan over the Senkaku Island.
Yeah.
What happened with that? What they do is they bolster nationalism, make everyone crazy and like super supportive. Like we're going to invade, we're going to do this. This is our sovereign territory. Then they actually just kind of let it die down, and then they don't report on it anymore. That's what would happen with Taiwan.
Yeah,
they would never. They're never going to invade Taiwan. They will never invade Taiwan.
No, I don't think so. I think it would
so. The U.S. if they were moral, if the U.S. was moral, they would actually acknowledge the sovereignty of Taiwan. I actually think they're underreporting big time. It's still one thing you guys have to keep in mind is Vietnam is still a communist country.
Yes. It
is marginally better than China, but it is still kind of following those footsteps.
Can I be completely honest? Unless you've paid a huge amount of money for those tickets and it's a very valuable thing, for you to go there, I wouldn't.
There are Chinese people rushing into Vietnam right now. Across the porous border.
It's not even just about Chinese, Vietnamese, or anything. It's about the fact that there's this virus going around.
That's what I'm saying.
That is very hard to detect.
It's uncontained.
It is uncontained, and it can be spread person to person out in public. And if you're going to be in a place like Vietnam, high density of population, you're flying on planes through hot spots in Asia, obviously, to get there. It's a bad idea. It's really a bad idea.
I agree.
It's a risk. I'd say it's just one of those things where you get drunk in Slash City or not, it's like that's a risk you can take, but you're probably going to get in some trouble.
Sure.
Might not. What's that?
Just got kicked off. Okay, we're back.
We're back. Sorry, just I wouldn't take the risk. unless I'd invested a lot in it. Let me put it that way.
Sure. Chad Edwards, how much of the population do you think has access to more accurate information than what Beijing is pushing out? Surely they have to have some skepticism, is what the government says.
Most people don't understand China because you got to understand China.
You got it.
Okay. Here's the thing. In the Western world, we're kind of used to this idea of, we have access to different news outlets. We have access to things. Even if you live out in the middle of like a Kansas farm or something, you can still get your internet on your phone, or you can watch TV at least, or you've got a newspaper or something.
Right.
When you go into the rural parts of China, there's nothing.
No.
Up everywhere.
Or hand-painted.
Hand-painted posters and stuff. You get told what the government tells you. If you are rich enough, and the interesting thing is, even in the rural areas, you do often see people with smartphones and stuff.
Or even Bentleys.
Like
the random one.
Yeah, the random one. Even if you have a phone or whatever, the information on there is stifled. You get news from one source and one source only, and that's the Chinese Communist Party. Every single newspaper, TV show, anything, all has to be monitored and authorized by the Communist Party. So those people out there, if they can get information to anything, news anyway, it's going to be one set of news. So
filter.
You've got no hope for those people out there. If you go to the cities, you get people that are a little more switched on, a bit more sophisticated. They might know how to use a VPN, but
I think, I do get this all the time. People are like, what if somebody sent me a really passionate message the other day. It was for both of us, actually. And I was inspired by it. It was like, what if you just mass allowed, bought 1 billion subscriptions of VPNs and just dropped them on China, right? The problem is that the majority of people have been brainwashed for so long that they're not only are they not interested in it, they're not motivated enough to even seek out another opinion. So they don't care if the CCP is lying to them because, number one, they don't really know that. But even if they have an inkling of that, the fact that they're full, the fact that they go to bed in their house and they're not like being basically like buried alive or tortured or whatever, that's better than what their grandparents went through. So for them, it doesn't matter what's happening. It doesn't matter. The truth doesn't actually matter.
They don't actually know that they deserve better.
Right.
That's the thing. They do deserve better. For them, they think that what's there in front of them and what they're being fed is the best thing in the world.
And that's the most dangerous thing about the Chinese leadership is that the average person on the ground believes that CCP officials deserve all of the corrupt wealth that they have.
Yeah.
And that's the sad part, right? Because they're doing their job. Meanwhile, they're doing nothing.
Certain parts of China right now that if you drive a car, people have to salute you.
Right, yeah.
Still.
In Guizhou, still.
Yeah. So, you're driving in a car and kids on the side of the road stop and salute you. And you're like, what the hell's going on? It's because it's built in.
That happened to me in my Suzuki Swift.
I know, it's crazy. Yeah.
You know what a good example of this is? You guys should watch I think it was Australian Broadcasting Network. They had a panel of people, and there was some Australian people, a doctor from India, I believe, and then they actually got a CCP official on. Okay. And the thing is, how many times have you seen a CCP official go in?
Never. Yeah, I saw that one.
The fact that they were haughty enough to actually never see anything like this again. Go watch that because you will see what a CCP official looks like. Tobacco-stained teeth, completely reading from a script. Absolutely corrupt asshole, and will never ever be upfront with you with your question. He never actually directly does it. What he does is passes the blame onto something else. Oh, those weren't Uyghurs; those were Kazakh people.
Yeah.
And it's just so transparent. And they really screwed up by allowing that to happen because their pre-written narrative doesn't work on a live format.
No, it can't.
It doesn't work and it falls through. So that's the problem is that people like that are running the country.
Yeah.
The more corrupt you are, the more evil you are, the better you do in China. Unfortunately.
Yeah. All right. What we got?
Sorry, I think I'm rambling.
No,
I'm very passionate. Fine. Do you think it will be safe to go to Taiwan after the middle of the year? I can't make predictions. Taiwan's done a great job of containment.
Yeah, Taiwan's been very.
His student's mom came back I think they were in China. Came back with a cough. They might even be Chinese. Came back with a cough and a fever and sent her daughter to school. And everyone's panicking, freaking out.
What the hell?
Yeah, so they had to call and be like, no, she gotta go home. Something like that.
Okay.
So you're going to have outliers like this. And in any country, you're going to have people in America that are absolute assholes about this. They'll walk around completely infected and not give a shit.
Sure.
It won't be to the extent of China.
No.
But it's still going to be a worry. I can't make a prediction on your health by the middle of the year.
I have to say that we're kind of looking to April to see a clearer picture. I think by April we might have a clearer picture just because we can get the proper data from the other countries that are infected at the moment.
We need other countries to keep reporting, because then we'll get an idea.
We need America to wake the hell up and actually start testing people.
Sure.
Because they've been, unfortunately, a bit too confident. Especially just when you listen to the lies of the CCP and you use that as a benchmark.
That's the worrying thing.
Then you don't prepare. They're like, oh, it's okay. This is good. It's not too bad. Blah, 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 blah. Look, the numbers aren't as bad. So everyone's like, oh, it's not that bad. Guess what? It's really bad. Now it's hit America. It's going to get bad. America has to wake up. They have to start testing people for free, not charging them $3.5 grand for a test or whatever, because that's just going to screw the whole system up.
For sure.
And we have to see where this goes. Right now, Singapore is a very good source of information. They're really reporting their numbers correctly.
South Korea as well.
South Korea is great.
On top of it.
Yeah. There's a couple other places worth mentioning, but
Taiwan's done great.
Yeah, there's a lot of places that we can look at. So now we can see real data from credible sources. We'll be able to figure things out. So I guess by April, the initial incubation period should have passed for the people that are going to get infected in those places, and we're going to see this.
I'm not a virologist, but I do think it's going to get much worse before it gets much better. And critical point, and I hate to bring this up again, but it's a critical point for people to understand how misrepresented China was, because the rest of the world prepared based on their numbers.
Yeah.
And you know what? Who's more at fault? Because we all know how fucking evil the CCP is. You know who's more at fault is the WHO to go within China and still say it's not pandemic status. Still, don't restrict travel because that's racist.
Yeah, but it's actually pandemic. It's pandemic status according to the CDC, and various other guidelines. It's been pandemic status for ages.
But the WHO and the Chinese government will say the CDC is biased towards Americans.
Yeah, and so now the WHO is like, well, we're just not going to use the word pandemic because it sounds bad, even though it is.
They need a spank on the butt. Those guys are such assholes.
They need to be disbanded.
And right now, they're under our video. Yeah. So we make no money. Yeah. Yet we still have to go out and they're getting paid by the Chinese government. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they are. And Tedros, Mr. Tedros, who's a communist anyway.
Yeah, hanging out.
Yeah, he is a communist. He if you read up on his background, he's actually a communist. So Tedros is just sucking the G-bar of Xi Jinping, and he's making this big mistake and misrepresenting this virus to the world just because he's buddy with the leadership of China.
But the Chinese government is so goddamn smart to know how to play the long game. The best thing that could have happened for China is for this not to ravage China itself, but to spread around the world, because now they can point fingers elsewhere. Yeah. And this is the nightmare right now. They're going to come out on top. Trust me.
Yeah, absolutely.
If people are dumb, which I think a lot of people are potentially dumb. Yeah. If they don't look into it. I'm not saying dumb isn't like IQ dumb, but if nobody cares enough to look into it.
Yeah, exactly.
This is going to happen again. It's going to happen again.
Yeah.
Comrade General, not to smear, CCP is spreading fake news of thousands dying, supply shortages, and government cover-up in Taiwan. An effort to no way, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised though.
No, obviously, in order to divert attention away, the CCP has to say, "Look how much worse it is elsewhere."
Right.
It's all good here. Meanwhile, if you're on the ground in Wuhan, it's really terrible. It's
of course.
It's so bad. It's so bad what's happening there.
Can we have another beer?
Yeah, we can. Yeah. What do you want? Do you want another Corona Chan?
I don't care.
Yeah,
you can, or Modelo.
You can have another Corona Chan.
I prefer the other one, but I don't care.
Yeah, well, here we go.
You're just trying to get me sick.
I'm just trying to spread the love here.
Thanks.
There you go.
We're doing our part to give Corona's brand recognition back. It's funny. A little aside. For everyone out there. They did some market research, and so we were speculating that this is going to be good for Corona because people have like a negative connotation with Corona in their head, but it's going to put Corona in their head. Yeah, but it's going to put. That's the real negative.
Yeah, that's where the negative stuff comes. Yeah.
Anyway, but some people were speculating, like actual market analysts. They're like, well, it's going to put the word in their head, and they're going to crave Corona. You know what I mean? But they talk to like Corona, like the marketing people there, and like their sales are tanking.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well.
it's funny. I don't want to be so serious in this stream. I apologize. No. We're on the road. We're supposed to be having fun.
Yeah.
It's a trip.
We're supposed to be having fun. Yeah.
We're literally in Mexico. We're in a shitty hotel room on shitty Wi-Fi, which I apologize for. And the fact that we have to whine about this is really sad.
It does suck. But remember, guys, the point of us doing these ADV adventures is not to talk about the coronavirus. Okay, the Wuhan flu, whatever you want to call it,
the Wu flu.
We are doing other topics on the bikes, of course. That's the whole point. So
you'll see some cool stuff.
You know, we can't leave this topic alone because it seems incorrect. If we just jump to some random, fun, interesting topic.
If I'm honest with them though, like if I'm honest with the entire crowd right now, totally like gloves off, honesty. I'm going ape shit like crazy. Me and you are going so crazy trying to chase up information on this because it's almost like there's this massive wall of shit that we can't get past, and we literally are getting underrepresented.
Yeah.
YouTube doesn't want to share content like this, obviously.
No.
Right? So we're not getting rewarded. We're talking to a limited audience when we should be talking to the whole world right now. I think we do have a lot of good insights. I think most people out there would agree that we have enough experience in China that we have an authoritative opinion on what's happening. And why do you think we would do this otherwise, right? Yeah. I would prefer to be riding around having fun with you guys, but we would seem incredibly force ourselves to go on a trip. Got on the bikes. We had a blast today. It was freezing in the mountains.
Super cool.
But look at what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Instead of, cracking out beers and like going and hang out in the streets in Mexico and like going to party and do whatever, we have to talk about this because it's literally a moral responsibility at this point. And I can't get over that. And I'm sorry for it and I apologize, but we will continue talking about it until this is done because I have to drill this into people's heads so that it's not repeated.
Absolutely.
Look,
we have to keep giving insights and when we hear interesting things that are happening or whatever, and especially look, guys, preparation is super important. It's something I've been saying from the beginning of all this.
Sure.
And it's getting harder and harder. It's getting harder because we've got a problem with the...
I want to call up my mom.
Okay, call out your mom in a minute, but...
I mean, that's
yeah, it is getting harder. I went with Sasha. We were driving around because we wanted to get some more hand sanitizer for the house, and we just wanted to see if we could get masks. Okay?
Long Beach, right?
Yeah, we drove around. We drove freaking far. We drove an hour, and I just basically went to every CVS, Walgreens.
We went to Long Beach, we went to Irvine, we went to San Bernardino.
Riverside, all the way down to Riverside. All these different places, looking for the basic stuff. And every single Walgreens, every single CVS, every single Home Depot that we visited. Do you guys have any face masks? No, sorry, we sold out. Like, check again next Wednesday. Stuff like that. Oh, no more hand sanitizer. Sorry, we're all sold out.
The Walmart outside my apartment has signs up right now. Yeah. Says, sorry, we have no hand sanitizer or face mask.
Yeah, exactly. And they're basically saying, look, even when we get the stuff in, it's gone before it even hits the shelves. All right? And they are relentless and they are savage. And these guys will wait early morning before the shop even opens. And as soon as that door's open, they're in there to grab every last thing. And then they drive to the next one and the next one, and they're coordinated and they work together. It's a business. It's got huge profits, and so they've got a lot of money. Who needs to prepare now to go get whatever it is to protect your family? Basic things like hand sanitizer, face masks. What's the other big thing right now that everyone needs? Like alcohol swabs, all these wipes, whatever. Any of this kind of stuff.
Bleach,
yeah. You want to go get it? Forget about it.
To go back to your first point, actually, the thing is, like, people want to use this race card thing, which is such bullshit. The biggest enemy of these parallel traders right now are Chinese people. And you know what? They're hurting the local people. Let's use America as an example, at least in the LA area.
Yeah.
They're hurting the local people there, which include Chinese, which include Hispanic people, which include white people, black people, whatever, right?
Yeah.
We don't care about your race. What's happening is that the local people don't have access to these supplies. Yeah. And you know what these people are doing? It would be kind of like a Robin Hood scenario if they were just going to bring them over to China. But what they're doing is either hoarding them or selling them at 10 times markup. So that when I was talking about how like people in China are like at a caste system economically, the only people that end up being able to buy these overpriced masks that they got from America are the super rich people anyway. So they're screwing over their own Chinese people.
Do you want to know? Do you want to hear something that's going to really piss you off?
Sure. I'm already pissed off.
Because I'm super pissed off. I keep a real close eye on these. And the way I do it is on WeChat, I've added a bunch of Daigo. So you can see what they've got to add. And I've got my wife is in a couple of groups where
you showed me a couple of these photos
where they like that of all these Daigo, because she used to buy cosmetics and stuff from Japan or whatever. Now these guys brag, and this is what they do is they're like, and I've been sharing some of this on my Instagram. So They go to Costco, they buy every single thermometer, like temperature thermometer thing that you can find, because right now that's what people need in China.
Right.
They buy all of them.
Right.
And then they brag and they're like, buy it now, blah, blah, blah. And then they talk about like how smart they are, because even if they can return it to Costco and get a refund later when this is all done.
It's like guaranteed protection.
So they hoard the shit and they're going to hoard it for months. But
if it doesn't break
out, doesn't sell, if they don't sell it, that's okay, because they just get their refund back from Costco.
That fucking pisses me off.
Yeah. Seriously? And they're bragging about this shit. I'm like, you know what? There are people that need those thermometers for their kids.
Right.
Because, you know, like those thermometers that they buy, like that the guy that was bragging about it, he bought all those like thermometers that you use for your infant child.
Dude, I don't want to bring whataboutism into this, but you know what would happen if a bunch of Japanese people, a bunch of white people, whatever, went to China because they had some product that we needed back home and bought it all out and then sold. It doesn't matter if you sell it at premium. If they just bought it all out, they would cry like little babies that you're taking our stuff away from our China, this and this and this. Meanwhile, and I really think I need to drive this home, the Chinese Daigou people, the people that are going back to mainland China, communist China, to go sell this shit at a profit. Yeah. They are hurting Chinese communities, not only in America, but also in their own country. Yeah. Because the methods to actually buy stuff, like Mickey was telling me, the ways to buy shit like this for normal people, they were able to buy stuff from Amazon and things like that. People like this, literally hurting both sides, they don't give a shit. There's no nationalism there. They're not trying to help China. They don't give a shit.
No, they don't give a shit. They give a shit about making money. Yeah. And it's super fucking annoying. And it happened with the milk powder before. Yeah. Just imagine.
They love tragedy.
I mean, just imagine what it would be like. I know now, I can imagine, because I have an infant daughter, and you need formula sometimes, and the mother can't produce enough breast milk, right? And it happens sometimes. Our daughter has formula every once in a while. But just imagine we couldn't get any because the Chinese parallel traders.
That's what it was like for a while.
That's what it was like. Imagine you go to your local store and you need formula for your infant child, and you can't buy any. Why? Because China made it, and the Chinese parallel traders have stripped the shelves, and they're waiting there in the morning to come and steal all this stuff and take it away. That would piss me the hell off. And this is really pissing me off, how they're taking advantage of this, especially since of letting anyone who really needs it have it and sell it at a profit. And if they don't sell it all, they can take it back to Costco and get it.
The Chinese government learned how to play the race card, like I keep saying, right? They really learned how to play this. And you know what? The only thing they're doing is really destroying the lives of Asian people in Western countries. Because people are going to get fucking pissed at this, dude. Yeah. And not rightfully so. I hate racism. It's abhorrent. Yeah. But they're creating the racism and they like it. I really think they're reveling in this. Like this disassociation they're making with like people. I'm not even joking. They love this.
You know, the problem is with the capitalism that happens over here is, you know, it's all based on people buying and selling. Yeah. But there's got to be a line that can be drawn where it's like, you know what? There should be a limit per item that people can buy, because it could really have a detrimental effect on the rest of society. You know, I know, but it's okay, like, to get water.
In a capitalist society, in a trust society, like that issue doesn't happen. Right, that issue legitimately doesn't happen.
Yeah, because it's a high trust society. You normally leave at least one behind.
So you can't use, and this is, I'm not trying to argue with you, but you can't use CCP tactics, like authoritarian tactics in a high trust society, just because people are taking advantage of it. Unfortunately, that's just the case. That's the nature of the beast. It sucks.
I think, no, honestly, the only, it's just going to get to a point where there has to be limits, because otherwise people are going to lose out.
You know what the limit is? And this is very simple. You don't use authoritarian tactics. You don't have to limit anyone. What you have to do is stop trading with communist countries and literally giving them 90% of your manufacturing exports.
Look, on top of this whole parallel trader thing that I'm moaning about, and if you've yesterday, I posted a whole bunch because I was really pissed off. I got a lot more, but I stopped myself. So I was getting a bit repetitive.
We're getting too mad.
The problem with it is that it's illegal.
It is.
The whole thing about parallel trading is that they smuggle the goods back into China.
They have connections.
And they don't pay import duties. So what they do is they'll buy something here where it costs less than in China, because China has an import duty and a sales tax and stuff. So if you buy one of those like hand sanitizers in China, it costs about double. So they've still got that whole amount of margin to work on a profit. As long as it's cheaper than what you can buy it in China, they make a profit, right? So what they do is they send it through the post in like small quantities, or in like strangely packaged stuff so that it doesn't get picked up. Or what they do is they use students and tourists and stuff.
They'll recruit people.
You know, when you get these tour groups that come to
the Great China Buffet.
Yeah, they come here, but as part of their trip, they're usually offered a rebate if they take some stuff back. So it's kind of like, okay, you're going to come here, you're going to travel around, I don't know, Arizona, go to the Grand Canyon and stuff. While you're there, a guy's going to give you a bunch of like hand sanitizer to take back with you.
Or luxury goods.
Yeah, whatever it is. You take it back with you, and your tour is going to cost you less. So you get like a 20%
like, hell
discount.
Yeah. Especially lost generation people like, hell yeah.
It's like, oh, I get a
for $20.
20% discount. That just means I have to take a suitcase full of hand sanitizer back in my carry-on luggage. I mean, on my check-in luggage, sure. So they do that, and students especially. Students get paid a little bit of money to bring crap back with them.
Well, the thing is, the reason they do it in groups is they'll have a snakehead that has buddies inside of the immigration, at the border or at customs.
Sure.
And they'll just wave you on. Why do you think we bought our helmets from Hong Kong?
Yeah.
They like immediately take us because we don't have those connections.
Sure.
Everyone's got, not everyone, but like people, snakeheads have connections at the border.
Oh, dude, I've got footage of them passing the stuff.
They just pass it over. They don't care.
Yeah. I've actually got footage, which is going to be one of my, I'm slowly releasing some of the stuff that I've.
It's getting vicious. We're just getting so mad at how the Chinese government is winning over the world.
Yeah.
This one.
Anyway, let's
move
on
to
the next one.
Chip Tang, have followed you guys for years. Thank you so much for your great work. What do you think of the situation in Seattle? Yeah, 4 people dead today in Washington State.
Yeah.
Again, this is going to sound super heartless, but we're going to need that kind of data coming out of Western countries. Not Western countries, like
any country that's not China.
Transparent countries. To actually get a handle on the situation. I think actually when it hits, it's hitting South Korea right now. Like I said, Singapore's doing a good job. Taiwan's doing a good job. Japan, I'm on the fence about Japan right now.
Yeah. Super disappointing.
U.S. has had pretty good disaster effort relief stuff.
I mean, they know what they're doing, but America, unfortunately, you guys have this horrible.
I was going to say, aside from Hurricane Katrina. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, no, you guys have this horrible situation where, like, there are too many barriers put in place. Like, there's too many privacy laws and stuff. So you have states that won't release the data because they're worried about people's privacy.
It's a double-edged sword, man.
I know it is, but it's like it's going to be tough to get through all of that because you're like, oh, my feels,
Right.
And
it's not feels, it's like literally chipping away at the way that the country works.
I know, but I'm pretty sure that in emergency situations like this, you can at least report if someone's been, like, you don't need to give their name or their address.
Welcome to the United States.
How about you just like, okay, we got 5 infected people. Like, who are they?
Sure.
We can't tell you, but there are 5 infected. Why can't you do that?
Devil's advocate, though, you understand it's not like you can't just quickly change something like that. It's like the intricacies of the way, and you love living here. You have to admit.
Of course.
The intricacies of the way America works is actually its beauty. And everything, Unfortunately, in a disaster scenario, yes.
Yeah.
However, I do believe that if you're not talking about finances, like for medical equipment and stuff, America is definitely well above most countries.
Sure.
For like
seriously, this idea of how much you have to pay for medical insurance and stuff here is outrageous. I mean, I can't stand it.
Do you want me to flip this on its head, though?
Sure.
Because this is a problem. It's a huge problem. It's a huge debate in the political community here about how much health insurance costs, this kind of stuff, right? If you're poor, you get Medicaid. You don't pay for shit. Do you understand that?
If I was poor, I'd be deported because I'm not an American. So
I'm pretending like you're American, right?
Okay.
You get Medicaid, right? You don't pay for shit. When my wife was going in to get checked on we're paying out of pocket. Checked on for Lucia's birth, just checking the ultrasound and stuff. People walk in there and they get this exact same care free. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I do understand the issues that America has with this kind of stuff, but people, and I'm not trying to poo-poo it, it definitely needs to be dealt with. But you can go, if I'm bleeding on the side of the road, like we saw a weird homeless dude today, right?
We saw a couple.
Okay. Yeah. So this weird Mexican homeless dude is laying there.
Well, I mean, maybe he's not homeless. Maybe he's just drunk.
Maybe he was just drunk as hell. It looked like he was itching or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, imagine if he was in the U.S. If he shows up to the hospital, he does not pay money. He does not pay cash. In America, you can't refuse someone because they can't pay.
Right.
It's not like in China. Do you understand? In China, you have to pay first.
Yeah, I know.
You're dying. You're like bleeding out of your jugular vein. You have to go pay at the desk first.
I know. You have to stand in a queue.
You have to stand in a queue.
Even you're dying.
Yes.
I've been in that situation. I know what you're talking
My
about.
point is, you deal with the situation first.
Yeah.
There's always aid and assistance later, and the good nature of people, hopefully, in your community, right?
Yeah.
There's on me, all this kind of stuff. It's a broken system, I agree, but it's not a heartless system. It's not a system where you show up at the hospital dying and they're like, "Now get the fuck out of here." You understand?
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but at the same time, it can completely ruin your life.
It can.
You know, it's a tough situation because I think there should be a balance.
Sure.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
This is getting into a debate.
Yeah.
But it's fun. Next, let's move on.
You know, I pay more in medical insurance for my family here than I paid for rent in China. In the swank place I lived in. Well, not swank, but the best place I lived in China.
And just to make this not biased, I'm in the exact same boat, and I'm American.
Yeah.
I'm a citizen.
I'm just saying.
I get no discount. We pay exactly the same amount out of pocket. You know what? It's the worst too, because like entrepreneurs like us are hit hardest. Because we're honest tax-paying people that have to pay out of pocket for this stuff. Yeah. So we pay. I hate to say, I'm just going to throw the number out there, about $900 something a month for our family's health insurance, and that's for the low tier.
I know you still have to. That's bronze, where you still have to pay $80 every time you go in for something.
It doesn't cover a lot of stuff as well.
It's bullshit.
It is bullshit. And you know what? When you get a job though, you're insured. Like you could work for CVS or some shit. I was a cashier. I could have applied for their health insurance and got everything taken care of.
Such bullshit.
But when you take care of it yourself and actually just have your own, we have our own company. Yeah. We have to pay out of pocket for that stuff.
It bankrupts me, man. But you know what's ridiculous though is when I worked it out, you know, because I had my daughter like a couple months ago, and I was, well, you know,
you just said that.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, I worked it out that if I paid cash for the whole procedure instead of just paying, you know, insurance every month, it would actually be the same.
I know. I actually did the math. I didn't. I didn't get to what's it called? Get insurance for Olivia, obviously, because I had her in China. Yeah. So I was doing the math about how.
I know it's ridiculous.
It's basically the same.
I wasn't expecting to for us to have a kid, but when Sasha got here, she was insisting because I don't give a shit. I've never had medical insurance my entire life, but when we got to the States, or when I got to the States, she's like, "I'm not moving there unless you have medical insurance." I'm like, "Come on, what the hell?" And so I got medical insurance, and it's stupid bloody expensive. And by the time she got here and she fell pregnant and everything, by the time we had the kid, I've been paying it for a year. I could have just paid the hospital.
I know. This is why I'm a libertarian.
Like,
this is why I'm a libertarian, because if everything was privatized, right?
Yeah.
It's the fact that people are paying out of pocket for people that can't afford it, like basically through their taxes and stuff. Sure. It raises the cost for insurance, and it hurts mostly for people that actually do everything by themselves, like we do. Assistance, we don't have food stamps, we don't have any of this stuff. So we're paying not only for other people, which is whatever, but we pay more for our own product, right? If everything is privatized, then the competition. Right? Sure. But it's these government subsidized companies like insurance companies and stuff, they get shit tons of handouts and they can price gouge whatever they want.
Well, I mean, to be fair, South Africa is the same.
And it's the same, right? Yeah. It's the same in a lot of countries. Yeah. You know. Anyway.
Sorry, we're getting sidetracked. What was the next question?
I'm happy that we're having a dialogue though. I think people are hanging out with us right now.
All right.
Cheers.
So, Cheers to all you guys out there. It's been a while. He's been sick for like a week and a half.
I'm actually just raring to go right now. I'm super happy that I'm not laying in bed. I got super sick. Wasn't coronavirus.
It looked like it though.
It definitely wasn't.
Yeah, but it looked like it.
Definitely wasn't.
It totally looked like it. That's why I was like, I'm not going into the office for a week.
I'm gonna spit on you.
No, I was wearing a mask and shit when I had to go.
Because we were prepared.
Yeah, totally.
It wasn't coronavirus.
No, it wasn't. But whatever.
It was, dude. I'm just gonna milk that. Peter Blantesic. I live in JBLM Army Fest, 30 miles from Seattle. After people died in Kirkland, I actually have a friend there. There was a run on the stores I prepared ahead of time, moderate preparation for disaster-specific duty. Don't let anyone shame you for it. Exactly. And this is my mom's watching right now. I'm gonna publicly shame you, Mom. I love you to death. I love you so much. I'm not actually gonna publicly shame you, but she laughed at me.
Why?
Last month, both of us.
We
went out to prep.
Yeah, we did.
We did prep for a year. Got a couple months of food, dry food. 2 months. 2 months of food. We just knew that this was going to happen. And it's not that we thought that we were going to get hit with coronavirus. It was that we knew that there was going to be food panic. And why go out there and infect yourself when everyone's freaking out, when the stores are still calm? Go buy your bags of rice and lentils and and canned goods, right?
Yeah,
it's not going to hurt anyone.
No.
And honestly,
you're going to eat it anyway.
You're going to eat it anyway, right?
Yeah.
I'll have a rice fest. A rice fest 2020.
Carb fest, yeah.
Carb fest.
Yeah.
Anyway, my mom laughed at me.
Yeah.
Guess what? Last week she goes, "Oh yeah, we're going to go buy like a couple months of food."
There we go.
People laugh. Don't let people shame you.
No.
And again, not talking about these absolute idiot preppers that build bunkers for zombie apocalypse.
That's the biggest crock of shit.
If
I'm
you-
sorry, but like, you know, they got prep. It's like a TV show.
Get the fuck out.
It's like, come on,
dude.
you got like 20
You
AR-15s,
psycho.
landmines.
You
It's
psycho.
nonsense. It's nonsense. Yeah.
Don't prep for violence. Prep for the fact that you want your family to be fed in case there's food shortages.
Here's the thing. It's good to cut down your public exposure to crowds. So if you have enough food in your house where you don't actually have to constantly go to the grocery store, it's good. You know?
It is. In this time of crisis and stuff, it's a good idea to get on your bike and just go to a crowded area of Mexico.
Yeah, well, in our defense, both of our parents-in-laws came to visit just before the virus hit, and they're stuck with us. Okay, and it's been 2.5. No, I'll fly them into Wuhan myself. Okay, seriously, I'll put them in their freaking hospital. Yeah? Seriously,
That's a joke.
Yeah, it's a total joke. But seriously,
No, but we're going crazy.
Apparently they've shut down one of those temporary hospitals that they built now.
Yeah. Did you see the leaks?
Yeah, because it was a piece of shit. I'll send them there.
You know, not to go back to that, but like this whole soft power thing about how China's got this under control. The hospitals don't even work.
No.
They're fucking falling apart.
No,
right?
They had to shut one down.
They're not reporting.
But no, they said they had to shut it down because there are not enough patients to fill it. Maybe they all died and they burned them.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever, it's a bunch of shit.
That's not a joke. But
No.
no, honestly, we watched them dilapidated.
No,
They're
no,
falling
that's-
apart. It's chop door shit.
It's basically like temporary construction worker
Yeah,
housing.
that's
that
what it
you would-
looks like.
You would set up on a
We had a
construction
friend that
site.
lived
Yeah, exactly. So,
but Peter, and I actually want to say thank you to Peter. You
Mm.
didn't need to send money. I'm glad you got the message out there, though. Don't let people shame you for
No.
going to buy food.
No.
And don't let people shame you if you want to go wear a mask. There was a couple ladies at Olivia's school the other day.
Yeah.
They were wearing masks.
Mm.
That's not racist.
no,
Guess what? One of them was Asian.
no. Well, you'll find the Asians are the only ones who actually do it.
Well, there's a white lady and an Asian lady. And I was actually want to say thank you to them.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's not racist to wear a mask. You're
No.
not going to freak people out.
Please don't worry about hurting other people's feelings. If it ends up in you and your family being infected, guess whose feelings are going to be hurt? You, because you're going to die.
And more importantly, if you're feeling symptoms, not necessarily coronavirus, but if you're sick, it's not bad for you to wear a mask if you have to go out in public. The mask helps more for the person that is sick.
Yeah, well,
So
it
they
helps
don't
other
spread.
people.
That's what
It
I'm
helps
saying.
other people.
It's a selfless thing to do.
Yeah, you know, when I was, especially in Hong Kong, wearing masks is quite a thing.
In Taiwan as well.
Yeah, and with she doesn't want to cough on people. and
It's
stuff.
altruism, dude.
So
Nice.
it's actually not selfish. It's the other way around.
It's the other way around. So if someone's wearing a mask, you should say thank you to them.
Yeah.
They're trying to help you out.
Yeah, and if you're concerned, you should wear a mask too because it's good. Like
It's not going to hurt you.
Nope.
Living with body dysmorphia says U.S. Us British. That's ironic. Us British have only ever had first world problems.
Okay.
Yeah, fair. That actually makes sense. Yes.
No, dude, you guys got tons of third world problems at the moment. I'll tell you that much.
Depends on where you are.
Yeah.
William Swenson says, bad as this is going to be, you're going to need more beer and try. Thank you very much. We're going to have to go on
Appreciate
another
it,
run
yeah.
at some point. Thankfully, in this area of Mexico, which I will not disclose, the shops don't close. So
Yeah.
we'll be okay.
And they accept US dollars, which is awesome.
Thanks for...
Well, they do.
Let's have a Tijuana meetup.
Nope.
Do you want to sub me?
Like, I don't have any pesos, do you?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Carl.
Mhm.
Corona will change the world and define the 20s. I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a big shift.
And Jackson, media share, liberty share, a much cheaper option to insurance. Works great for a family. Thanks.
Okay.
MediShare. So
All right, we'll take a look at that.
look into it.
You know, what's a big worry for me is that my parents-in-law don't have medical insurance while they're here.
Oh, mine brought. You bought travel insurance.
Yeah, mine didn't. So if something
wrong with
happens, I don't know. That's their thing. I mean, if something happens, I'm not picking up that bill.
You don't have to.
Oh, I don't?
No.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The taxpayers will. That's okay.
Indirectly. They will.
No, they will. It's like, yeah, as soon as they cure, they're on a plane out of here, I'm sure.
Indirectly, I'm saying, well, that we should probably.
Guys, yeah, this is
Okay,
getting
let's-
a bit out of hand. And
That's fine.
again, apologies for the unorthodox kind of episode that you're watching today. We are out on the bikes. We are filming a lot. We've got all our gear here. We got our drone. You know, we have our GoPros. We have our handycams. We have our cameras, and we've got a huge trip planned. It's not just Mexico.
Yeah, actually, the main feature is not in Mexico.
No. So anyway, this is just going to be another one of our ADV trips. We can't wait to update you guys with more. And of course, our own personal channels during the week, we'll be doing live streams as we go along, since there's no time for us to edit. So we'll catch you then. So if you have any questions for us, we'll always be around to answer them.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Cool.
So anything you want to tell our subscribers before we sign off?
Last mountain weather today.
Snow. We saw snow.
Yes.
We saw snow on the way to Mexico, okay?
That is messed up.
It's totally messed up, but we saw snow. We got like actual footage, so we can share it with you. Maybe we'll make an Instagram post later, some of the snow we saw.
Fair enough.
Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. It's really fantastic that you're here to support us, and at the end of the day, we want everybody out there to be safe. Whether you're Chinese or not Chinese, whether you're in China or not in China,
Agreed.
whether you are in Mexico, wherever it is, because Mexico's also got a confirmed case or two now.
Mexico City, yeah.
Stay safe, guys. This is a scary time. Take extra precautions. And if you've been a dirty bastard your whole life, it's time for you to start washing them hands.
Speaking from experience.
Yeah, totally. Anyway, see you around, guys. Have a good